Was Amazon Prime Day subprime? Is Facebook about to develop a Tick-Tock clone? Will Stranger Things help brands understand their commerce shelf life is limited? We'll tackle these plus more on the Business News Podcast at the intersection of marketing, technology, media, and popular counterculture. Disruptive FM. Let's do this.
It's Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Welcome to Disruptive FM, where business and culture collide. Sponsored by Microsoft and Branding Strategy Insider. With your host, Jeffrey Colon.
Okay, here we go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 49 of Disruptive FM, coming to you for the week ending July 19th. I'm Jeffrey Colon, head of brand studio for Microsoft Advertising, as we drop some knowledge on 3 trending topics and have a Stranger Things themed conversation with Meredith Blake, television reporter for the LA Times. Let's get into it. 3 new trending topics coming at you.
Here are this week's trending topics. Prime Subordinate.
Amazon Prime Day. A day in the middle of July when nobody can be bothered to do much, passed off as Consumption Day, made up to be some Twitter holiday. It's the number 1 revenue driving day for the e-commerce giant. Yes, bigger than the Christmas holiday season. But this year, it was also the number 1 day for the company's competitors. You see, everyone steals ideas. And because Prime Day is so massive and so well orchestrated, it makes sense for the Walmarts, Targets, and eBays of the world to draft off that attention and literally garner attention of their own. But not all attention is good attention. This year, unlike Prime Days of the past, many were calling for taxing Amazon more, for striking against the company on behalf of warehouse employees, and for investigating the company for monopolistic practices. None of this is new, but Amazon, which has pretty much slid under the radar the past several years, as it has been on a massive triple-digit percentage of year-over-year growth, is going to have a hard time not being culture jammed by opponents moving forward due to its size. In other words, when you are in your prime because you are at the top, well, others are going to find ways to chip away at you to take some of that glory away. We may not be that far away from when this day might have to be renamed hashtag past your prime day.
Trending topics on DFM. Tick-Tock, Tick-Tock.
Facebook loves to copy. In fact, its mantra is definitely good artists copy, but great artists steal. So what does a recent hire they've made tell us about future plans at the company? That's right. Facebook recently hired Vine creator, remember Vine? Jason Toff. Now, why is this important to note? Toff shared that he'll be leading Facebook's new product experimentation team, also known as NPE. It revealed last week that the NPE team will focus on entirely new experiences for building community, and the high-profile hire could be promising. We have to remember that Facebook is still the world's biggest social network, and its family of apps, including its core platform, Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp, reaches 2.7 billion monthly active users. However, ByteDance's Tick-Tock, which amassed over 500 million monthly active users in the past 5 years, is becoming a thorn in Facebook's side. Tick-Tock lets users create short videos while lip-syncing to music. It's similar to Vine, the short video app which Twitter acquired and subsequently scrapped, but it's much more popular, especially among younger Gen Z users worldwide. Beijing-based ByteDance, which created Tick-Tock, isn't shy about its plans to challenge Facebook. Earlier this year, ByteDance hired Blake Chanley, Facebook's former VP of Global Partnerships, as Tick-Tock's new head of strategic partnerships. It also hired Vanessa Pappas, YouTube's global head of creative insights, as TikTok's first general manager in the United States. To counter ByteDance, Facebook launched the TikTok clone called Lasso last year, but team leader Brady Voss resigned shortly after the app's launch. Facebook will likely kill off Lasso, but it's still cooking up fresh ways to counter TikTok's growth with its newly created new product experimentation team. And this is where Jason Toff's hiring is important. It's most likely that Toff, who will lead the MPE team, is going to try to take on TikTok by either building a clone or incorporating elements into existing Facebook products. Hey, when you can't beat them, join them. And when you can't join them, steal their intellectual property.
Trending topics on DFM. Stranger shopping.
We're huge fans of Stranger Things at DFM. From the storytelling to the branding to capturing our youth in the 1980s, we can't get enough of this show. So last year when the show had a promo for season 3, which was an advertisement for a mall, we went nuts. One of our favorite sites on the internet is this cool site called deadmalls.com. I'm sure you've heard of it, but if not, definitely check it out. Not only is it creepy as in scary on how much the world of commerce has changed, it's creepy in how much commerce dying kills metropolitan areas that at one time used to thrive in those areas. Which leads us to our next guest. Meredith Blake doesn't write about commerce for the LA Times. She's the paper of record for the West Coast TV reporter. She's also originally from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, like myself, and shopped one time at the Westgate Mall. A mall still open, but with only 3 stores in a space that once held 200. Blake wrote a really great piece on the consumerist slant on season 3 of Stranger Things and how it is reviving and remixing what commerce used to look and feel like before it was digitized. Let's take a listen.
I think they captured a huge part of it, which is that malls weren't just places to shop. Of course, that was part of it. But you would go to the mall and buy nothing and just hang out for 3 hours. And the idea that those kind of rituals of adolescence have so much to do with buying things. That, of course, is not totally extinct, but that is something that kids now do online and in virtual space as opposed to in physical space. But for many people who grew up in the 80s and the 90s like I did, the mall was just where you went. It's where you kind of spend half your time not even in the stores, but kind of in the covered areas in between them, talking to other kids and maybe going to the food court or whatever. So I think that experience is really something that's gone by the wayside. I did some reading about kind of how the mall business is trying to stay afloat. And a lot of them are trying to move more towards like experiential things. They'll have fitness studios or they'll have like laser tag or things that you go to experience as opposed to just buy, hoping that those will keep them afloat. A lot of them are just closed and now they're being turned into medical centers or colleges or mega churches. But I think, you mentioned those 2 malls and growing up in Bethlehem, the Westgate Mall, I believe was built probably in the 50s or 60s, and it just felt old. I don't know how else to describe it, whereas the Lehigh Valley Mall was a little more like the Starcourt Mall in Stranger Things. It was multiple stories. It had kind of, a central kind of gallery and fountains and escalators that took people up and down, and you could look down from the second story onto the first story, and it felt kind of new and shiny. And it had kind of the big 3 anchor stores, and that's one of the big things that you've seen hurt in malls, is that these big kind of department stores that used to anchor each wing of a mall. That's how the mall that I grew up going to was like. You'd have a Macy's, maybe a JCPenney or a Sears, and many of those stores are closed or really struggling to stay afloat. So that's obviously been a huge part of the death of the American mall. And I think as those stores close, people, real estate landlords are trying to find other places to fill them, and it's an uphill battle for sure.
Malls were more than shopping. They were areas to socialize, meet up, and maybe even flirt on a Friday night before the mall cops broke it up. Meredith Blake, TV reporter, at the Los Angeles Times.
It's Disruptive FM.
Communications.
The Business Culture Podcast.
They say if you listen closely, you can hear the sound of today.
It's Disruptive FM, the culture of business. My name is Jeffrey Colon. We are social animals, and we would love to connect with you. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Disruptive FM, and you can also connect with me personally on Twitter or Instagram at DJGEOFFE. Huge thanks to our three sponsors: Microsoft Advertising, Intelligent Connections. Connect meaningfully with the people who matter to you. Microsoft Advertising provides intelligent solutions that empower you to deliver engaging, personalized experiences that value people. Learn more at microsoftadvertising.ai. Branding Strategy Insider. Branding Strategy Insider serves 50,000 plus senior level marketers, CMOs, and business decision makers daily, and is distributed by partners such as the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, Google News, and Forbes. Branding Strategy Insider is the leading resource for thought leadership in brand strategy and brand management. Learn more at brandingstrategyinsider.com. And Iographer. At Iographer, we create accessories for your mobile device to help you make better videos. Our specialty is the Iographer case, which is the foundation for all the products we sell. Our case allows you to attach the filmmaking accessories you need, such as microphones, tripods, and lenses, and helps to stabilize your video. Use the products we use at DFM to create our videos. Learn more at iographer.com. In the background, music from Satin Jackets. It's a track called Mirage. That's the Anorak remix. It's out now on a release called Solar Nights. The remix is part 1 on Eskimo Belgium Records.
And now, Disruptive FM presents...
What kind of shit is that?
Come on!
It's been a while since we've had this segment because it's been a while since a company has done something ridiculous. But that wasn't going to last forever. So it piqued our attention this past week when we read about this fiasco in the burn down the trust department. When you order food through an app and tip the worker who delivers it, you'd be forgiven for thinking that the money you give goes directly to that person. But in reality, some delivery apps use your tip to make up the worker's base pay, essentially stealing the money you're trying to give someone to maximize their profits. This isn't a new practice by any means, but a recent report from the New York Times highlights how DoorDash, the most popular food delivery app in the United States, enforces it. Here's how it works. DoorDash offers a guaranteed minimum for each job. For one order, the guarantee was $6.85 and the customer tipped $3 via the app. But I still received only $6.85 if I'm the delivery person. If the customer had tipped $0, DoorDash would have paid the delivery person the whole $6.85. But because they tipped $3, DoorDash kicked in only $3.85. So this delivery person was saving DoorDash $3 by not tipping. It's worth noting that this is not some novel form of exploitation. DoorDash's policy is the equivalent of a tipped wage, a common practice in America where employers pay workers less than the minimum wage and rely on tips to make up the payments they owe. We see this a lot in the restaurant industry with wait staff. Apps like DoorDash are essentially just extending established bad labor practices into the world of technology. But just because something is common doesn't make it fair. Stories earlier this year from NBC News and the Los Angeles Times highlighted how Instacart and Amazon Flex also use tips to make up pay. One consumer advocate described these practices as completely deceptive to consumers. Following outcry, Instacart scrapped the policy and promised to retroactively compensate workers. But DoorDash and Amazon Flex didn't budge. They still use tips to make up base pay on some of their deliveries. Even more annoyingly, it can be difficult for workers to know when this is even happening because of a lack of transparency in how they're paid. Before you assume all companies do this, we at DFM confirmed through research that Postmates, Grubhub, Seamless, and Uber Eats do not use customer tips to subsidize workers' pay. The battle for fair treatment of delivery workers is bigger than just tips, of course. It's about guaranteed wages and whether or not companies will recognize these individuals as full-time employees, with all the rights and responsibilities that this entails. In the meantime, if you want to make sure your delivery worker gets your tip, do the following. Use cash. And to this, we say,
What? Come on!
Here's a glimpse of some stories bubbling on the edges. It's a segment we call On the Radar.
Here's what's on our radar. Number 1.
Employers at big companies have found new tools to snoop on their workers' texts, emails, chats, and meetings. Dozens of new workplace analytics tools have come into use following advances in artificial intelligence and natural language processing technology. And companies don't always reveal what they are tracking. Proponents say such data sharing can allow managers to better spot problem employees, wasted time, and high performers, while others are concerned the tools might be used unfairly or breach trust and privacy.
Number 2.
Will the next great office revolution bring back calmness? Technology at work has led to multitasking and constant distraction, reducing the potential of workers and causing stress. Instead, knowledge workers may need to start taking cues from the manufacturing production lines of the 20th century, assembling workers for highly specific tasks without the noise and distraction of side projects or productivity tools may be more efficient. One rule of advice? Buy a big pair of headphones, since interruptions lead to a 25-minute period to regain focus.
Number 3.
Are you pro or anti-emoji? Regardless of your stance, emoji use is basically universal. Slack alone has 26 million custom emojis, and per recent neurological studies, it can lead to better cooperation. Researchers at the University of Hong Kong reviewed the use of emojis, and they found it can help people form relationships and better understand one another. Another study, based in Colombia, concluded we process emojis in the same parts of the brain where we process faces. Okay, that will do it for episode number 49. Next week, Fernando Machado, CMO of Burger King, will be with us. As always, thanks for checking us out. We would love if you would rate, review, and subscribe to the show. And please tell your friends. We're on all the major podcast services: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Stitcher, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and SoundCloud. And we'll be coming soon to Pandora. Once again, the socials. Be sure to follow us on Twitter or Instagram at DisruptiveFM. And check out cool content from our 3 sponsors: MicrosoftAdvertising.ai, BrandingStrategyInsider.com, and iographer.com. Until next episode, from everyone here at DFM, in the middle of a heat wave, have a great one. I'm Jeffrey Colon. We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to Disruptive FM with Microsoft Communications designer Jeffrey Colon. All thoughts are his own. Disruptive FM is produced in Los Angeles by Feeler Media.